Hi, everyone, and welcome to Party Advantage. I'm your host, Cassie, for this special episode of Behind the DM Screen. And today we are joined by Rob, Adam, Rich, and Kyle, all from the Arias Adventurers campaign. How are y'all doing today?
Doing good.
Good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. As you know, our first play episodes are fast approaching here in August. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's going to be pretty epic.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, really looking forward to it.
Well, good. So I think what we're going to do today is to take some time to get to know your characters and you guys as players. So without further ado, let's go around and introduce yourselves, and let's start with Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob Kerr, and in this campaign, I'm playing Road That Winds. He's a Tabaxi ranger in the Arias campaign, and he's a newcomer to the land of Arias. He grew up as sort of an archaeology background. His parents were, wandering Tabaxi archaeologists until his mother died in an accident during a excavation, and sort of put Road on this path of self-discovery and exploration that led him to the land of Arias, where he's now.
Now, with my campaign and how I created it, there are actually no Tabaxi race here on the continent except for you. And I'm interested in getting to know how Rhodes found his way across the Jade Sea from ancient lands to this continent.
Well, he's like any cat. He ends up wherever it is that you don't want him to be.
You just feed him a dish and he'll come.
Stand outside, open the can of tuna. I'll come running.
And what I think I'm also looking forward to with your character, Rhodes, is there's another cat-like race within my campaign called the Nicogen that I specifically created for this world and campaign. They're not full-on Tabaxi like you, but they are a smaller, delicate humanoid race that do have some feline features. I'm interested to see how Rhodes gets to know this race along his travels and how they're treated within the different lands of Arias.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in seeing how that shakes out as well. I think Rhodes is going to be fairly curious about them, and depending on their treatment, maybe a little more indignant than some of the other races might be about it.
Mm-hmm. It'll be cool to see how that goes. Alrighty, Adam, you're up next. Tell us about who you'll be playing.
Hi, I'm Adam, and I will be playing Tagoro Krogblast. He is a half-orc barbarian, and basically the best thing to know about him is he was raised by direwolves, and he's always hungry.
Okay.
Think every anime character that always has like that food they're eating and whatnot, and like you touch their food, they get angry. That's Tagoro.
Nice. So what was it that brought him out of the wilderness and into civilization? Was it just food?
A wise person once said he followed his nose and wound up there, and just mainly, just followed his nose and tried to find food.
Kyle, tell us about your fella.
Yeah, my name's Kyle Voisine. I'm playing Manny Popel, the halfling bard. He's also a sorcerer. I wanted to play a bard because they're a lot of fun, period. And but I also wanted him to kind of have like a sadder story. So as he was young, he traveled in the carnival a lot, in the circus. Growing up, watching and learning ways to charm people. And when he was 10, his mom just up and left, no word. And when he approached his dad, kind of like shook it off and just acted like it was a natural thing. and left Manny with a lot of questions. So he snuck out, just a few instruments that he had, and left, and started an adventure to find out some answers of who he is and where's his mom.
Interesting. So a bit of self-discovery and possibly learning what became of his mother, or even actually finding her.
Yeah.
So how long has it been since Manny began traveling off on his own? Like, how long has it been since he left his father and left home?
Oh, for a while now. It's been probably like 11 years, and he's just been kind of like dodging anything that, anybody's like looking for him. He's just been dodging those people, but he's also trying to like find information his own way. And that way is to like go to taverns and play shows and try to like gather information around and move on to the next place.
Interesting. I'm sure he's lighthearted, but is he also a little bit more of a serious bard?
Yeah, he's a little serious, but he loves making people smile. Like, that's still like a big love for him. He loves seeing people smile and making sure like people are happy. And he's always looking for instruments to play. Any new instrument.
What's his favorite so far?
He has his lute, his trusty lute that he's always has, and he has a flute.
A lute and a flute. I like it.
Yep, because they rhyme. Yep, exactly. And that's the synchronicity. He likes the synchronicity of it. So any instrument, his next instrument he wants to try is a violin, but he's pressed to find one.
Well, maybe he'll discover one along the way. And Rich, why don't you tell us about your character?
All right, I'm Rich Turpin, and I will be playing a human. Shocking, and he is there. There's a slight trend. He's a blood hunter, and he's a little mysterious, even to himself. He's the only thing he knows right now is that he's very excited, very openly excited about being in his adventuring group at the moment. And it's pretty obvious because every time he gets a kill, he does a fist pump. And so he's actively trying to look like he is just excited to be adventuring with these people. That's kind of his goal, is to make it look that way.
Nice. So this is Locaros's first official adventuring party?
And it is his first adventuring party, so it's not too difficult for him to kind of put on this kind of facade. It's, because he really is internally excited. He's really liking this, being able to finally use his abilities out in the open and discover more of what and who he is.
That's going to be really fun getting into his backstory down the road. Plus, you're playing a blood hunter, which is a recent addition to the classes in 5th edition. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and whoever's DMing this, who is that? Oh, yeah. Okay. Was nice enough to actually let me play a blood hunter, because I don't think they're a specific class in Arias.
And what's interesting is when I wrote Arias and everything, I had an idea, and this was like right before the Blood Hunter class was added. I had an idea of doing a Demon Hunter / Blood Hunter, something, a type class similar to this that I would introduce later on. And then, well, what do you know? D&D Beyond released the Blood Hunter, and I didn't have to try and create it. So that worked out perfect.
That worked out great for both of us.
It did. And I think that when I wrote the original idea, I'm pretty sure I was in the middle of a heavy Diablo 3 run, so there was that.
Yeah, there's definitely a Vala, the demon hunter.
Yes, I love Vala. So I think we introduced everyone, so we'll move along. Now, everyone has played in various different backgrounds and different years of experience with different types of characters. So for you guys, do each of you have a particular type you like to play, like a character trait or a class or even an alignment that you like to stick with consistently, something that you always like to have when you create a character?
That's a tough question because, like you, most of my experience is in DMing as opposed to being a player. I will say that if I'm being truly honest with myself, most of my characters end up being chaotic good. Just in terms of alignment, there, I just like the they're the good guy, but fuck your rules, that sort of attitude. The sort of the go your own way sort of character there who still wants to do the good thing. But outside of that, I try to make a point of being relatively diverse in terms of the race or the class. I do really like Rangers, and so Road is a sort of pairs two of my favorites, the chaotic good alignment and the Ranger class there with something a little more exotic, the Tabaxi heritage there. So I'd say that probably the only really consistent element is the alignment for me.
I know in past campaigns I've ran, everyone usually picks a general alignment like neutral, but I don't think I've ever had anyone pick like chaotic good and then stick with chaotic good. Everyone is usually just like, we'll start neutral as a group, and then we'll just kind of see where we all go as a group.
Like, I mean, have you guys seen that T-shirt that says, chaotic good, following isn't my style? Like, I really want that T-shirt because I really do like that alignment there. But yeah.
Nice. So, Adam, how about you?
I really just like chaotic characters. Love them. And my go-to usually is a sorcerer class that I usually like. I usually like sorcerers and just mainly just like being chaotic and crazy and out there and a loose cannon.
So you follow the more chaotic, like true neutral alignment.
Yes, I'm out for myself.
Oh, Jesus, I'm already thinking about the numerous chaotic characters you have created, played, and then broken my campaigns with in the past. And now we get to share that with the world. Yes, exactly. And that will be such fun. So, sorcerer and chaotic neutral are your preferred go-to?
Yes.
But here you're not playing a sorcerer in either campaign, actually. So what led you to choose a barbarian instead for the Arias campaign?
I've never played a barbarian, so I figured the best thing to do for a podcast would be also to try something that I haven't ever done before.
Fair enough. I like that.
That way I can get all the loving comments about people telling me that I'm doing it just right.
Or telling you how awful you're doing.
No, never.
Because the internet's all about support, right?
Yes, it's a loving, supporting place.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, a mob of support.
It's nothing but love. Rich, how about you? Tell us about your preferred class or alignment.
Well, I would probably say that definitely good. Almost always lawful good, actually. So playing a paladin was pretty easy because that's what I've usually tended towards. I've never. If I've ever picked any other alignment, I haven't played it very well. So I'm still kind of somewhat open, I think, on Lucaros. He's definitely good. I just don't know where he is going to fall in. He's a little more of an open book there. He knows he wants to be good. He wants to do good. But he doesn't know where that's going to take him for sure.
And again, your character is still kind of shrouded in mystery, so that will also be interesting in exploring with along his alignments and whatnot. So, what about you as well, Kyle?
Oh, I like being the bad boy. It's fun. It's fun. I like it. It's good. Being the sneaky one. But this round, this character I'm going to play a little bit different. He's going to be not as confident because of, who he is and like what he's been through. He's a smaller fellow, so he's not as tough as the other guys. So, and as far as like his alignment, he's neutral, but he's good. Like he means well. But he's just kind of, goes with the flow of things. But if he's in danger or feels like he's in danger, he's going to act upon it.
Okay, so that does lead me to ask a question. So what is his go-to move when he's approaching, I don't know, say a group of people that may or may not be sketchy, more than likely innocent? So what would his go-to action be?
He likes to swoon,
Oh my God.
He's a ladies' man.
So I'm just gonna say it. We will, for the audience, we will post that episode as bonus content at some point on the website. The episode where Manny put a group of unarmed lady kobolds to sleep for no reason.
Let's put them to sleep first, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do.
I was only doing it for safe messers, safeties first, and that's what counts.
Right, other than he got scared, even though there were more of you guys than there were of them.
Exactly, that's what I did.
I like how you did that as a safety precaution, even though you had a ranger, a blood hunter, a barbarian, a rogue, and a paladin traveling with you.
We're going to put that as bonus content. I'm just putting it out there right now. It'll be on the website. So.
We definitely are, and it was a lot of fun.
It's great. It is great. But I redeemed myself. I did redeem myself, and I killed the big demon thing with my bare hands.
Right.
You did. And you made us call that episode Bards Can Be Cool Too.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And they can.
Exactly. So definitely be looking forward to those episodes, by the way. And we also had a couple of friends join us for that, and they were a lot of fun during that as well.
And we tortured the NPCs, which is a lot of fun too.
Yes, torturing NPCs as well. Putting kobolds to sleep and torturing NPCs. That was pretty much our campaign.
I don't think we're the good guys looking back on it now. I don't.
No, Manny's pretty sure that he is a good guy.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think we are, but if you're somebody looking outside, there's some definite questionable things.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, moving on from that. Again, with your guys' characters and the 5th edition material, there's all these awesome like backgrounds you can choose from. I know I've had a lot of fun going through the different backgrounds and reading them, and then using, ones to create my characters, especially with the bonds, the flaws, and ideals. So, how much of this did you use in creating your individual characters, and then your process for that?
I tend to use the that section is a good jumping off point there. I start with an idea of what I want in terms of just a general backstory to be, and so, for example, with Road, I ended up kind of being torn between the archaeologist background and the haunted one background because of the element of his backstory, which again is up on the website, about the death of his mother and his father's depression and that sort of thing. And I ended up going with archaeologist because I felt like the tables for the traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws gave me to work with in terms of his background there. So I do tend to use those tables a fair amount. I don't limit myself to them, but I do like them as idea sparkers, as it were.
I think that's pretty cool with your character and choosing between the archaeologist and then the haunted one. And I like that you went with the archaeologist. And I also think it would have been an interesting twist to see how he would have handled going about his journeys while being haunted.
Ultimately, it came down to I wanted him to have more of a, remember the Mummy movies? I wanted him to have more of that feel versus like a Van Helsing feel to him. I wanted to have, him to be more of the, the tomb raiding, undead hunting adventurer as opposed to the running from his past, sort of character there, and that's ultimately what shifted that decision, I think.
So, Adam, how about you? How was it using the backgrounds that are available? Did you use any of them or any of that in your character process, or did you just go to the beat of your own drum?
That actually helped this character a lot because with the personality trait that I actually ended up getting was I was in fact raised by wolves, which is in the D&D 5th edition personality traits. So when I thought of that, that's when I was like, well, let's have it be dire wolves because he's like a half orc, so they're pretty big to begin with. So let's I don't see a half orc being raised by wolves. So let's make it dire wolves.
Nice. I know when I read your character background and I saw that, I was just like, oh, Jesus. Oh, why? So then how early of an age was Toguro discovered and raised by dire wolves?
Fairly young, if I remember correctly. He was a baby when they found him. So he has no idea who his human or parents are. He has no idea of his lineage.
So does that play into some of your character's goals and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, he's not ruled by that. He's not, some people that is a huge issue. Understandably, that is a very big issue, not knowing your parents. But with Toguro, he was raised by dire wolves, and I mean, they weren't bad to him. They didn't eat him, so that's a plus. So he's mainly out for himself. Not for himself, but he's mainly out for his stomach, and then he is totally open to making bonds and friendship. So I feel like that is one of the big things with him is he wants friends. Because he never actually learned how to talk to dire wolves. He doesn't have I think it's Sylvan language. He has no idea how to talk to wolves. So he's actually, when he was raised, he never really talked.
Huh. I did not realize that about him. I look forward to exploring that background a bit more. And Rich, what about you?
Well, yeah, I like using those a lot. I go to them and read them at least on the characters, and I get a little excited sometimes when I'm reading them, and I thought at first maybe you could select multiples from the same group, and that didn't work out so well. So I lost everything that I had previously done. So I did it again, and a couple times I changed my mind just because on some of the verbiage from those options changed my mind and my viewpoint on the character. So I find them very useful, and I'll probably always look at them to get maybe some other ideas or different aspects that I haven't thought about.
And last but not least, Kyle, what about you and your character creation process?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Buddy, I look at them it's more of like idea makers for me. Like it just kind of gives me a thought or idea, and then I might use it, or I just might come up with my own idea. With my personal character, I felt it was better to make my own ideas and bonds and thoughts and background. I mean, he's a bard, so I just figured entertainer was the best one to choose for him.
So next question, what drives your characters? Like, what do they each hope to achieve during the campaign? And then also, how does each character feel about the other members within the party?
Well, I think from Rhodes' aspect here, he's really driven by this. The anger that he's sort of carrying with him, with the loss of his parents, and his, he sort of expresses that by having this almost, uncontrollable need to destroy any undead that he comes in contact with, and that expresses itself in the form of his favorite enemy, obviously being undead there. But he, an actual mummy was responsible for the depth of his mommy, and I just said that out loud, and that sounds weird. But nonetheless, it's true, and it happened, and it's written down, so that makes it fact. In this case, so he's driven by that rage, that sort of directionless rage that's led him to wander, and sort of put himself in places and situations where he might be confronted with these things that become the personification of what he sees as everything that he lost in life there. Now, something that he hopes to achieve here is that among his father's papers that he discovered after his father's death was a map leading to something. He's not entirely sure, and so it's sort of a thing that he's been keeping in his back pocket as a sort of someday when he figures out where this map starts, maybe he'll follow it and find out what's the other end there. In terms of the other characters in the group here, he's sort of a stranger in a strange land here, and so Road definitely has the feeling of just sometimes being kind of along for the ride, not really sure what to make of everybody. He definitely likes Tagoro and his sort of just simple honesty in all things. I'd say that his best friend in the group is rapidly becoming Manny as sort of his his hijinks buddy. The two of them seem to have a knack for finding
Shaggy and Scooby.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly a Shaggy and Scooby situation. We always split up, and I don't know why, but we do, and we find something. He's very curious about Roche, but Roche is mysterious.
Lacaros? Wrong campaign.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Wow. Wrong campaign here. Lacaros. Wrong campaign. So Lacaros here. Bad with names in real life, much less in the game, much more so in the game. But with Lacaros here, he's curious about Lacaros, but he certainly understands having a past and some things that maybe you're not ready to talk about. And I think that that's what he sort of imagines is what's going on with Lucaros. There's something deeper and darker in there that maybe he's trying to escape from. And so overall, I think he's really happy to be part of the team.
Adam, how about Tagoro?
Mainly what drives Tagoro is his stomach. He is a simple half-orc man. That's what drives him, his character growth and development. Like I said, he doesn't really have a family. He doesn't really care that he doesn't, because he's pretty sustaining with his emotions about that. What drives him is hopefully a good next meal sometime. That's kind of why he's been sticking around with these people, is because, he got to try cockatrice jerky. So, I mean, he's kind of excited for what's to come.
That was a fun little excursion there, too.
And, I mean, yeah, as far as party members, I mean, but Lucaros and him are becoming, like, best friends, / I think he's becoming his caretaker of Tagoro. His mentor, his
guidance, voice of reason.
Yeah, big brother, all that. Yeah, it's because, I mean, Tagoro never had that. He was, raised, you have to be the strongest and best. So, you pretty much had to take food out of people's mouths, wolves' mouths. So, he doesn't have restraint. So it's kind of going to be fun for him to learn this.
It's already been pretty fun seeing how he awkwardly interacts with the party. And I do like the friendship that's growing between him and Lucaros.
His go-to move is to look at him and just be like, do I do this? No? Okay.
Kyle, what about Manny?
Yeah, I mean, try to find what's going on with my mom, and also to maybe gain confidence. Like, he looks at all the other players as giants and like titans almost, like these really strong individuals. So he kind of wants to prove something. And the other characters, Tagoro scares him. Absolutely terrifies him. So we'll do whatever Tagoro wants him to do.
Nice.
As far as Road, yeah, same. He's my buddy, and I like Road because Manny kind of noticed him as a ranger, so he kind of is really following him to try to get the confidence, ask to get his help, try to find his mom. So it's sort of like when you're the new kid at school and you meet the really popular kid and you kind of have to go up to him. That's kind of what Manny's fighting right now. Fighting the urge to be like, hey, Road, could you do this for me? Type of thing. And then as far as Lucaros, I think Manny sees him as kind of just just runs in without any worry. And Manny doesn't like that. And he always thinks that Lucaros is going to get him killed.
Nice. I like that. Lastly, Rich, what about Lucaros?
Yeah, he is thoroughly enjoying being part of this party. And he almost immediately just kind of took to Tagoro. It's kind of like the relationship with Chunk, and what's the little chubby kids?
Chunk and Sloth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Chunk and Sloth.
Yeah.
So he thinks of Tagoro as his sloth. But he's got to look after him. He knows that he's really powerful. He knows he can do some serious damage, and he just wants to make sure that he doesn't hurt him or anybody else. He's okay if he hurts Lucaros. He's okay with that, but He's more concerned that he might, kind of get out of control a little bit. He's not sure about the whole half-orc thing, and so he's just kind of keeping a friendly eye on him. And he loves, for whatever reason, he loves guinea pig jerky. He's, that first breakfast that he picked it up and ate it, it was disgusting, but it kind of stuck with him, and he's kind of craving it. And he's like, I'm so glad he's got this around all the time. He's got some decaying animal in his bag, ready to get probably not cooked, but at least dried out in some jerky form. And, everybody else in the group, he's not worried about. They seem fairly confident to him. So he just kind of stays out of their way a little bit. But sometimes his enthusiasm and kind of his, masking who he really is and why he's there, he tends to get a little ahead of himself. So it looks like he's really running forward and trying to get into trouble, but he's not so much trying to do that. He's trying to figure out how to be himself, but not be who he is.
I really like how everyone has these different relationships with each other within the party, like these friendships. And I also look forward to seeing how these relationships are further explored and whatnot during the campaign. I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely excited.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've got a really great dynamic going on here. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Well, fellas, it looks like we're at the end of our time. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. You can find more content on our website, like maps, history and lore, character backgrounds, and more at our website, partyadvantagepodcast.com. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Party Advantage. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on iTunes, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcast. Again, thanks for tuning in today, and thank you guys for sitting down and having this awesome chat with me.
yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
Of course.
And we'll be back next week with Rob and the Farwind Party. See you then.